guys doing today? Hope everyone's well. As you may or may not have read, I've woke up late and have a really cool headache. So yeah, it's not that bad. We still did our exercises, and we still have more to do after stream. But hopefully hopefully we'll all feel like relaxed, myself included, and yeah, we'll all not have headaches. We'll all be able to do our exercises. Oh, wow. Oh. Sue, you didn't have to redeem it. I was getting to it. Hi, Sue. But since you redeemed it, we'll do it this way. One hand here, the other hand here, and just for you. And what's up, yo me? Yo me. How's the bunny today? How to get your voice? How much cigarettes are you smoking a day? None anymore. Which I miss it every day. But yeah, we're healthier now. I guess. Yeah. But how to get my voice? Smoke cigarettes and drink whiskey. Get a crippling habit and really go down a dark spiral. That's the best way. Depressive episodes and tons of abusive tendencies towards, self-destructive. That's the best way to get a deep voice. Yeah. The depression, eases up a bit. You drop the habits, but the voice stays because you've messed yourself up. Yeah. No fair, you have your favorites. Is that directed to me, Calypso? If so, yeah. Ayomi and Suo are my best friends. And Sue's maybe extra special. Yeah. You don't need to worry about donating to me. Don't worry about it. Just, if you like what I do, relax and enjoy yourself. That's it. Or don't. That's also an option. Yeah. It's worth the health. Also, what's up, silly? I'm sorry. I saw you come in, but I would think I was already getting to talking. You're still in bed? That is something that I wanted to do. I wanted to be in bed as well. So, F. But we're up. We're doing stuff. Ayo. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, and me. Also, Burgundy. Let me scroll up and see if we have anyone else that wanted to have daily coffee. I'm scrolling up, but I'm probably still missing stuff. Yeah, Calypso, of course. Yes. Let's go. Anyone else that wants to take a sip with me? Hey, yo. Go ahead and redeem that now. 1, 2, 3. Oh, and sip coffee as well. Thank you, Sue. I do need to drink it rather quickly because it is at the cusp of becoming cold. Not yet, but once we start reading, absolutely. Got stuff for Boygas yesterday and literally went, wow, Tofu would be excited about dinner. Yeah. But, yeah. No, we're not having that tonight. I gotta cook them soon. Absolutely. How did they turn out? What did you do with them? Did you make them special? Thank you, me. Okay. Let's check out the links to these stories that we have. Excuse me. Oh my. We'll start with this one. This was fairly short. I think there's actually... Oh, it's blip. I thought I said burp. F. Thanks, so... I guess I'll get out of bed to make some coffee for my sip. It's a good idea. Yeah. Yeah. This one is titled, You Have One New Friend Request. Ooh. Ooh. This one's written about Finky here. Oh God. I don't know when Facebook introduced the feature Friend Suggestions, it used to be called, but now it's people you may know. A bunch of Facebook profiles suggested to you to add as friends. Usually people who had a mutual friend with you or someone you've searched for in the past. What creeps me out is how accurate it is. It's clearly taking data from somewhere, because it suggested people to me that I've only ever interacted with in real life. The woman that cuts my hair, or the guy who does my taxes at H&R Block. Sometimes, though, it is really a random person that Facebook thinks that I'll know for some reason. That's what happened on Thursday evening. A new friend suggestion, A.R. Winters, no mutual friends, no apparent connection to me, but this one caught my eye for a few reasons. First, the photo was of poor quality. It looked like a photo from the 90s, something that had been developed on real film and then scanned over or photographed. Second, it had been taken from too far away. The man, or possibly woman, was wearing dark clothing, standing against a tree, so far away I couldn't make out their face. It didn't occur to me until just then, but generally, profile pictures aren't taken from that far away, unless they're traveling and showing off some landmark. But this person was just leaning against a dead tree. Out of curiosity, I clicked their profile. All their info was hidden though. No cover picture, no other profile pictures, no about me info. The next time I loaded Facebook, he wasn't a suggested friend anymore. It was just the usual never-ending will of 30-something women that had a smattering of mutual friends with me. So I forgot about it for a few days. Until they popped up again. People you may know. A.R. Winters. The same photo of them leaning against the dead tree. Or was it? As I stared at the photo, I realized that they were standing straight up, no longer leaning. I could have sworn. I shook my head. They were so far away. How could I tell whether they were leaning on the tree or just standing underneath it? Later that night, I checked Facebook again. People you may know, A.R. Winters, one mutual friend. I froze. A mutual friend. The mutual friend was some girl I went to high school with. I didn't know her well. We'd been close in the 8th grade, but then she started hanging out with more popular girls and we lost touch. Still, Facebook friends though, because I never went through my list of 2,000 plus people and pruned some off. I didn't say I had a mutual friend with her before, so they just became Facebook friends like today, this evening. Maybe there's someone from our school. Maybe they just joined Facebook for the first time now, or maybe they lost the password to their old account and are creating a new one. A few more days passed and I didn't see A.R. Winters show up in my feed, but then on Saturday night, there they were. People you may know, A.R. Winters. 3 mutual friends. Not 1, 3. And the photo was definitely different. It was still the dead tree, the overcast sky, everything looked exactly the same, except the person. They weren't against the tree anymore. They had taken a few steps closer to the photographer. They appeared to be a woman, tall and pale, dressed in a flowy black shirt and long black pants, wavy long dark hair parted neatly on the left side. Because of the film quality, I still couldn't make out her face. Who is she? I glanced at our mutual friends. One was a guy I had chemistry lab with in college, and the other... No. The other was our English teacher, Miss Flowers. She had been the teacher mentor of our literature club. But she had been dead for 5 years. I sat there staring at the screen, all of it slowly sinking in. Her account can't even accept new friend requests. And why would this random person friend request her anyway? A horrible, creeping dread tugged at the back of my mind. I clicked on the 2 other mutual friends, Jessica Marie and Michael, scrolled down their timelines, and... oh God. They had also passed away. There hadn't been any official announcement for either, but their timelines were scattered with messages like, I miss you, and 2 years since you've been here. Quick Google searches show that Jessica Marie died in 2020 from complications of COVID, and Michael had been dead since 2023 in a motorcycle accident. I clicked back to my feed to the friend suggestion to AR's profile. I froze. She was standing closer, much closer. Her face was pale, almost pure white, like all the blood had been sucked out of her. Her eyes were dark, pupil and iris indistinguishable, and they seemed too big for her eyes. She had no eyebrows. Her long dark hair twisted around her as if there was a terrible wind. Blip. I jumped. There was a little red one over the bell icon. AR Winter sent you a friend request. My hands began to shake. I stared at the 2 buttons, confirm and cancel. I clicked cancel, closed out of the window, slammed the laptop shut. I sat there in the dark, panting. Sweat covered my arms. I felt like I couldn't breathe. Calm down, this is obviously just some stupid prank. The photo's probably not even real. AI. I pushed out a breath and got up, put on my hoodie, left the apartment, and went for a walk. I shoved my hands in my pockets and walked along the walking trail at the local park. My breath came out in clouds of mist. I shivered. It was almost dusk and the street lamps glowed across the road, orange amber. Then I stopped. I never noticed it before. At the edge of the park, there was a big oak tree barren of leaves now, but it looked just like the tree in AR Winter's photo. A million trees look like that. Stop it. As I stood there staring, something peeked out from behind it. A pale white face, dark flowy clothing barely visible in the dying light. But I knew it was her. I knew. I ran back home, locked my apartment door, and opened the laptop. I went to Facebook. AR Winter sent you a friend request. The profile photo, her face, filled the entire photo, right up against the screen. Like she was staring right at me. And maybe it's just the stress, but I feel sick. Really sick. I've thrown up twice in the past half hour. My stomach hurts so much, more than I ever remember it hurting before. And I can't help but think, am I next? Boom, boom. That wasn't bad. I guess that's a way to start it off. Spoopy. Yeah, a little bit. A little bit spooky. Spoopies. I hope you brought the TP, because I got a spoopy. What is that of you and me? Let's see. Oh, man. You ever have that feeling like in your traps and neck, where you're like, and kind of jaw, like back jaw, where you're like, bro, my neck needs to pop, and it just won't. It sucks. It's annoying. It's like maybe I think it's a tension headache. I guess. Yay, yippee, yippee, if you will. Wondrous. Seems like it. Yeah. I couldn't sleep last night. It took forever. I laid there like maybe an hour and a half while like he was like petting me and watching anime. And after she turned it off, I stayed there for a little bit longer, and I was like, nah, I'm just gonna get up. And I tried out Code Vein a little bit. It seems cool. I think I'm gonna hate the targeting system. That seems very annoying. Like, I think I've been spoiled by Monster Hunter Wilds and, and like their camera system and all that stuff, which isn't great, mind you, but I think it's like the focus button. And I don't know. So I still got like Monster Hunter controls in my head. It's just not clicking. I need to play it more. But the character looks like a Dan-to-Dan version of Nova, pretty much. And I did good. The character creation was fun. I need to think about what I'm doing after stream. I don't know. Maybe that depends on how I feel afterwards. Yeah. Sonoma, what's up? How you doing? How you living? Good job on your pixel art stuff. You're doing great, and it looks really good. Yay! It is. I really like the cat. The cat one was so cute. The marching cats. We have a shortish story here titled, I was told to hold my breath when driving past a cemetery. Now I know why. Bum bum. An act I learned as a child, to hold my breath if I'm in a car that is cruising past a cemetery. I don't remember who told me, but I remembered it was something my friends and I would follow religiously as children, no matter who was driving or where we were going. And if the windows in the car were down, it would be mass panic to roll them all the way up before those wheels crested in front of the cemetery. Back then, they were manual crank windows. The ones that took all my scrawny kid strength to get closed. But in those moments, they always managed to close in the nick of time. I'm not sure any of us knew why we were doing it. I certainly didn't. Regardless, it's a practice that I kept up even through my 13th birthday, even though my 13th birthday is right around the corner. It wasn't like I had big plans for my birthday, but it would have been nice to be able to celebrate it. I remember making the concrete decision when I got my driver's license that I would keep playing the game for nothing if not for myself. Sometimes the practice seemed silly to acknowledge, but my mindset had always been, I'd rather be safe than sorry. If other people were in the car, I'm discreet about it. Much less fanfare than when I was a kid. Just one large inhale as the tires continued to glide on the road. I casually rolled up the windows like it's no big deal. Maybe like I saw a bug I didn't want to crawl inside the car. Yay. Thank you, Sonoma. But it isn't always feasible to hold your breath in time. I mean, I don't always see the cemetery until I'm smack in the middle of it. I immediately stop breathing when I realize what I'm driving by, but at that point, it already feels too late. Until 2 days ago, I didn't know the consequences. Now I do. It's because I moved to a new town that all of this happened. I didn't know that the back roads that led to the craft store would contain so many cemeteries. It was in my nature to simply avoid those types of roads, to take the highway even if there was more traffic. I was alone on my way to pick up supplies for one of my many craft projects. I should have returned the car, or I should have turned the car around when I saw that the road I was going to be on for 7 miles contained nothing but curvy, grassy, open space. It wasn't like there was anyone else in the car to question my actions. I should have known as I made my way down the winding road that there would be multiple cemeteries. But I told myself not to be ridiculous. A kid's game shouldn't keep me from driving down the fastest route to somewhere. My other mistake was leaving my windows open. At this point, there was an act of defiance. I knew there would be cemeteries, but refused to acknowledge them before they arrived. Granted, these days windows went up much faster with electronics, but apparently not fast enough. I didn't even know anything was wrong until the next day. I woke up groggy, wiping the sleep from my eyes as I stumbled down the hall to the bathroom. My eyes were bulging and bloodshot as if something had been pressing on the inside of my skull, trying to get it out through my eyes. A thin trickle of dried blood from sometime in the night kicked itself onto my neck. I followed the line back up to my right ear as if something had been trying to force itself out that way. My nose was swollen, and the skin of my face was hot to the touch as if fighting off some kind of infection. But before I go any further, I need to get back to the crux of it, the actual event. So, like I said, I was driving on an unfamiliar road with that familiar edge creeping on my back, though one that told me that there would be a cemetery around every corner. The reason I didn't see it right away was because my phone distracted me. And before you sneer at me, I know I shouldn't be looking at my phone when I drive, but I just happened to be waiting for an important work update. The ironic thing was, it wasn't even the update I was waiting for. It was, wow. Think you're not can, man. Not can, man. What's up, buddy? How you doing today? Very quickly, I see I have some redeems from Anya, so I'm gonna do them. What were you up to? What were you doing? It's nice to see you again. So for Anya, forehead cuts. A sip of coffee. Yay. Yum. Headband. And a stretch, which I sorely need. Thank you. Appreciate you. Let's see what the right message is. Our ASMR kitty made us EP. Time to spread the cozy. Lovely. The cat ball mode is very cute. It is. It is. I'm good. I was doing cozy ASMR. Man. And I missed it. You're one of the few ASMR artists that I actually watch. I don't watch very many, and I don't watch often. But if I see that's what you're doing, I do try to pop in. I remember I was like in the server one day, just waiting for people to drop in. And I was like, all right, let's just look around Twitch. I was like, oh, they're streaming. And I was like, oh my, oh wow. It made me feel very, very EP by the time. I think it was Isla that popped in. I was feeling super cozy. I'm like, I want to go to bed. I want to take a nap. Anyway, I'm going to get back to the story. For those joining us, what's happened so far is a fairly short one. Pretty much ever since they were a kid, they've always held their breath whenever they would go past cemeteries. They're an adult now, and they think it's a little bit silly, so they Yeah, they decided not to do that this time. Hmm. Hmm. And I guess there's consequences. We'll find out together. It was my sister in a crisis. She's always in a crisis, but usually her crises don't impact me as much as this. They usually don't transfer over like a curse waiting to impregnate the next person. I clicked on the text to see a wall of blue with lots of exclamation points and angry face emojis. This is the reason I didn't realize my little red car had passed over the plane. I wasn't even reading the text. I closed out of the green message app almost immediately. I wanted to make sure it wasn't something dire, but something that actually needed to be taken care of in that moment. It's hard for me to describe to you the surge of fear that traveled down my back as I glanced back at the road. Of course, I stopped breathing immediately. Yes, I pulled up on all 4 window buttons as soon as my fingers unlatched from the wheel. It was over in mere seconds. One moment I was in the middle of driving by a cemetery, and the next, the moment passed. The sun blazed into the car and started cooking everything within now that it had no way to escape. Even though the moment was over, I didn't want to roll the windows back down, as if I could gain favor from the ghost if I just kept following the rules. Obviously, I had to take a breath at some point and blow out in the next. I continued to breathe and cook in the car, my air condition temporarily broken. I had all the tools to replace my blower motor, but the part that refused to keep working last week. Oh, that? But since it was a nice day, I figured it could wait. So that's the reason for the sweat trickling down my back, pure laziness. I knew I couldn't be too careful and roll the windows back down. I used my car around the bend only to be faced with another cemetery. This one I could prepare for. I could see it a little bit ahead. I was able to take that deep breath that I needed before driving by. I didn't even mind that I was roasting like a rotisserie anymore because I was safe. The closed window and the back of the breath kept me safe. Would you think I was lying if I told you I encountered another cemetery a mile and a half down the same road? I swear it was the last one, but I didn't inhale any fresh, non-circulating car air until I parked and threw my door open 15 minutes later. Those breaths were some of the most satisfying I had ever taken. The fall air hit my nostrils in such a cool, clean way. Maybe that was my mistake. I was too greedy with the fall air. The text that ruined my life. I know some of you must be curious. It was because her current boyfriend, the guy that she'd been on 2 dates with, didn't like cats. Could you even call someone your boyfriend after 2 dates? She lived alone with 2 cats, Cinnamon and Sugar, so clearly this relationship could never work out. She was outraged that anyone could hate cats, especially her dream guy. Well, I guess he wasn't her dream guy anymore. By the time that I checked the crafts out of the By the time I checked out at the craft store, I mostly forgot about my escapade on the drive there. Like I said, I didn't realize the consequences. Up until yesterday morning, it was just a silly kids game. And yes, I answered my sister's text with all the correct platitudes like, "How dare he?" and "You're too good for him." When I think back on it, I did take a different way home. Whether consciously or subconsciously is up for a debate. There weren't any cemeteries on the way back, at least not that I saw. That was 2 days ago, almost 48 hours to the hour. Most of my hair has fallen out. I'm typing with one finger, the only one left with the nail attached. At least it's my pointer finger. A small miracles and all that. The rest fell off last night. I found them clinging to my bed sheets. Toenails too. Those are gone. I tried to voice to text with my computer only to find that I don't have a voice anymore. All that came out was strangled gasping noises. I guess it makes sense. When I looked in the mirror, my chest was sunken in, my neck shriveled, all the folds on my trachea and esophagus visible beneath the thin layer of skin. I'm starting to leave blood smears on my keyboard. I don't think this knell is going to last much longer. I guess I should get to my point soon. I think it's too far gone for me to ask for help. So, I guess this has turned into one of those warning posts. You know, the ones that tell you to watch out, always look behind that corner, turn on the lights before bed. In this case, always check for cemeteries. Never take your eyes off the road. There are so many questions that must be left unanswered. What about the air conditioning or the heat? Can the ghosts get you if you turn those on? Was it my open window or did the windows not matter? Is it all cemeteries, all ghosts? Do you have to be driving? I don't have time to answer any of those. I'm already infected, possessed, haunted, or whatever this is. You can test all these theories if you want. I'm not sure I recommend it. Another tooth tumbled out of my mouth a moment ago. I think I only have 2 left now. It's hard to keep my jaw closed. I'm trying to prevent the blood from trickling out. It's not working. The keyboard is slick now. My breaths are shallower. It's like I can't catch my breath. A bit ironic, as if the ghosts are still stealing the air from my lungs. Like I'm still driving past that cemetery. I think I only have a few moments left, just enough to post this. I wonder what my family will think when I don't answer their calls. I wonder how long it will take them to find my body. I wonder if I will have a body to leave behind at all. Bum bum. Little tiny Isla. Well, if it isn't little tiny Isla, keeper of the spoons. How you doing? How's your day? What's up, Don? Nice to see you. Welcome back. And for Cheshire, let's have that sip, buddy. 1, 2, 3. Whoops. I think we're going to take a short moment to refresh our cup. We do have another story when we get back. This one will be titled, My New Coworker Didn't Blink Once All Night. Ooh. I'll be right back. I'll leave the mono here to dance for your viewing pleasure. And apparently I didn't dance today, I guess. Also on the way back in, I kicked the shit out of my weight, so ow. Somebody kiss my toe. Make it better. Yeah, ouch enough is correct. And thanks for the welcome back, Sue. Thank you, lady. Nice. Lucy.
Let's have, you know what? Let's have that sip together. It might be a little hot, so I think it might be a small ship. But 1, 2, 3. That's not too hot. Yeah. Thank you very much. All right. Well, let's go. Again, this one is titled "My New Coworker Didn't Blink Once All Night." I'll be entirely honest with you. I don't really know what to do right now. I just decided to write this on here. My hands are still literally shaking as I type this. I have no idea what happened to me today. For context, my name's Jack and I work at a bottle shop. It's actually not terrible work for the most part. It's owned and operated independently as a small business, so I get pretty taken care of on payday. It's one of those bottle stores that, oh no, operates as a drive-thru. Either a customer comes up to the counter with their alcohol and I scan it through for them, or they pull up in a drive-thru and I serve them whatever they need. What? Drive-thru alcohol? I'm just imagining like a fast food place, but for liquor. You order your mixed drink just to sip on the way on the drive home. This is horrible. Oh, your coffee is cold coffee. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, I'm sure it's good. Cold coffee can be good. That's fair. I'm not a huge fan generally. It has to be like one of the very sweet ones. If we're going cold or frozen. I'll allow it. We have it here. The cups have to be sold. Oh, they actually do make like mixed drinks. That's crazy. I just imagine they hand you a straw and they wink at you as you leave. Don't drink that while you drive. God, kind of wild. That sounds like some Texas stuff. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. But and you don't have to confirm it at all. What a world we live in. Remember the days when you could. No, never mind. I'm gonna read. Anyways, there's this event in town at the moment. It's an annual thing, and the store is pretty much blown up. I can't really keep up with everything happening, so my boss said he was planning on hiring a new guy for me to work with on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Hence today's horrifying events. Earlier today at 4 p.m., I clocked in for a 3-hour shift. It was really business as usual, but being a Friday, I was definitely preparing to get slammed. As I clocked in on the computer in the back office, I felt my phone buzz in my pocket. I grabbed and saw it. Sam Boss was phoning me. I clicked accept and put the phone to my ear. "Good afternoon," I offered warmly. Okay, the words, there's the word meat in here, so we're just going to do a really bad British accent. "Hey mate, it's Sam. You clocking in now?" "Yeah, just got to work." "Easy. Listen, you're gonna love me for this. We're trailing a new employee tonight. He should begin there any second. Name's Damien. You all good to show him the ropes?" Thank God, Sam. I was literally just mentally preparing myself to get overrun with customers. Yeah, I'll show him how everything's done. "I'm Jason Staycamp. I'm Hamstein Jacob." "No probs." Oh wait. Okay, yeah. "No probs. Look, I'm on my way to that meeting I was telling you about, and I'm just about there to block spot, so I'll let you go. Give me a buzz after you've clocked out and let me know how it went. Keep in mind, I'm in and out of meetings until just after 7. What? Isn't it? No worries, Sam. Thanks again. See ya. Is that a Cockney accent? I'm just trying to, I'm going as like as stereotypical as possible, and it's just the best, I'm sure. And that was that. I wish I could go back, turn around, and never have stepped foot into that store at night. But I did. I walked out of the office and into the main part of the store and saw a short, slightly chubby man sitting behind the counter looking at me. Thanks. There he is. Damien? I exclaimed as I went up and shook his hand. That's right. What's your name? He responded excitedly. I'm Jack. It's nice to meet you, mate. Let me show you around. The first thing I noticed about Damien was his smile. All the teeth in his mouth seemed visible, and his smile literally never seemed to waver. I don't actually remember ever seeing him with a straight face. As I showed him around, I tried to get to know him a little bit. Whereabouts you from, Damien? I asked. Not from around here, was all he responded with. Yeah, cool. How'd you find out about this job? I just saw the opportunity, he said, his smile quivering, and I just nodded at that. I didn't really seem to get straight answers to the questions I was asking. Instead, he would respond exclusively in a manner which operated to provide as little information as possible. I finished showing him where everything was, and he returned to the counter. To be honest, the shift started pretty slow, but Damien and I actually stuck a bit of a good system. We would trade customers so as to stagger the workload between the two of us, and whenever one of us wasn't with a customer, the other would be back stocking the shelves. Not long after this system was engaged, I realized how clueless he was with interacting with those customers. I honestly just assumed that maybe he didn't have a customer service background or something, but this guy was at least in his 40s. I wasn't sure how anyone could get to that age and be as poor in customer relations as this gentleman. For example, this one guy came in, and Damien didn't even initiate the interaction. He just stood there smiling at him, waiting for the customer to tell him that what he wanted without any provocation. This really struck me as odd. Is this... is this, like, in the future? And, about, like, what is it, is it the Gen Z stare? Is that what it is? Is this, like, Never mind. We'll find out, maybe. That'd be great. I hope that's the twist that we get. About half an hour went by, and the service really started to pick up. People were coming home from work around that time, so I underwent what I usually did on weekends. A battering. We continued to trade customers, and although his social skills weren't great, the system was working. I found that I was having to work a lot less hard than I usually did. Then something strange happened. I waved goodbye to a usual customer, and this older lady Damien had just served pulled over to the side of the drive-thru. I saw her arms stick out of her window, followed by her head. She looked right at me and waved me over. A little bit thrown, I walked over to her, preparing to get yelled at for one reason or another. Hey, mate, she said in a gravelly voice. Look, not to be an arsehole or anything, but you might want to review the performance of your colleague over there. She pointed vaguely in the direction he was standing. He was facing away from us, doing absolutely nothing. But even from the back of his head and the way his cheeks looked, I could tell he was smiling. He didn't say a bloody word to me. He just stared at me for ages and silently went and got things after I blurted out what I wanted. He also didn't stop smiling once. Yeah, this is his first shift. I think he's just nerve. But I didn't get to finish what I was saying. as we were both looking in his direction, and as I was speaking, a tooth fell out of his mouth. A single tooth. It fell in front of him and bounced off the box that was at his feet, landing just beside him. Me and the woman were stunned. We just watched a few more seconds. Love, I don't know what's happening here, but be careful. I got to run, but seriously, be careful. She peeled out of the drive-through, leaving me shocked and alone. Just the mental imagery of like this sweet old lady just coming by for her daily bottle of, I don't know, scotch. It's going to get absolutely obliterated. I like it. Carl called as soon as the story started. F. He's just working at a liquor store and has a creepy new coworker. That's basically all that's happened. I probably watched him for at least 2 or 3 more minutes, which doesn't sound like a long time, but trust me when I say that it is. In a silent drive-thru, watching a smiling man stare aimlessly into the back of a fridge, it was just bizarre. I finally pulled up the courage to continue about my work. After that customer, we had quite a huge patch. I went to the fridges on the opposite side of the store and began to load them. After a little bit, I heard him moving over to the other side of the shop. I looked over and saw he had shuffled to behind the counter now. Jesus Christ, I thought. Now he's facing right in my direction. I continued to load the fridge, but Damien did not stop staring at me for even 1 second. He didn't even break eye contact. I could see in my peripheral vision that his outline remained facing towards me, smiling and observing. For 1 split second, I mustered up the guts to glance in his direction and saw a missing front tooth. My stomach genuinely sank. It was the worst feeling. Just as I returned to my work, I heard the gentle rumbling of an engine as a car pulled up in the drive-thru. I heard absolutely no movement from behind me in Damien's direction, meaning it was clearly up to me to greet and serve the customer. Shakily, I walked to the driver's side window and said my usual greetings. As the customer was telling me what he wanted, I heard a clink and a tapping sound coming from behind me. I immediately knew what it was, but I still had to turn around to check. Unsurprisingly, he continued to smile, but now there were 2 gaps in his mouth. He had lost another tooth. What's up, son? How you doing, bud? Thank you very much for the sub. And as is customary, even though it's not on the screen anymore, every sub comes with a forehead, because you give me that big little head. Appreciate you, buddy. That'll get you to never sub again. I hope you're doing well, man. And thank you, Stilly. Let's have that sip together. We have some sweet cream coffee to sip. That sounds enjoyable. I want to get some Baileys. I want to get some Baileys to dump in my morning coffee. Make the day slightly more interesting. 1, 2, 3. What is Azeron? What is that? I don't think he's told me about this at all, son. Oh, is it the mouse? I know he's been on the Founders grind. I think he said you've been playing it too. Is that hack pad? I don't know what that does. I guess I can Google it. I can Oogle it. Hack pad. I don't know what this is. I'm seeing so many different things. Okay. Fellowship ER. Is it good? Is it good? I logged in, and then I got hit with, you don't make your own character. And that killed me a little bit inside. Because, like, I'm already forming an opinion on it, which probably isn't valid, which is like, hey, this is just Overwatch, but PvE and MMO skin. That's the vibe I get, and that turns me off. Also don't like, I don't know. Stilly, recommend Monster Hunter Wilds, and that way you can play with us as well. And I don't think you'll be too far from Sonoma, like, story-wise. So, it's also, I think, still on sale. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Everybody should play Monster Hunter Wilds. I'm such ass at games like that. Well, that's why you pick bow. And, like, you know, something that has some distance and that has, like, a lot of evasion. And then you get carried. And you already own it. That's a huge plus. Yes, listen to Sonoma. Play Monster Hunter with us. I like it for what it is. It lets you just run mythics. Every other game offers customization, so I think it's fine to not have customization in a game. No. I want to make Nova in every game. And I'm going to pout about it. I don't want to be conked into being a dwarf or some lady that, you know, has flower butterfly healing magic. Get out of here. No. I'm sure it's one that I would like if I played it, and I need to since I bought it. So I will eventually. You're getting better, Sonoma, though. That's the thing. That's the thing. You can make Nova in Power World, but I hate Pokemans. And I hate, like, crafting things. That's really the thing that gets me is crafting things. Not a fan of that. And I think you kinda have to. And I don't know. Then you gotta, yeah, I know the whole, the you know, Nintendo says otherwise, so. You don't want butterfly magic? Tragic. Did you mean to rhyme? I mean, butterfly magic would be cool if I can, like, you know, have my own character that wielded it. That I could, like, customize. But I can't. And that's almost a deal breaker for me. Almost. Normally, like, if it was just me, if I didn't want to play with my best bud and was sitting here, then, it would be a complete deal breaker. But it's just it's just almost a deal breaker. So if the game's actually, like, if the game hits me correctly, if it's a good game, if I enjoy it, then it would be worth the Overwatch character selection in an MMO setting. Also, hey, crafting, it ruined Animal Crossing for me. Yeah, I would agree with you, Don. But I think what ruined Animal Crossing for me was being forced into indentured servitude by a crafty little raccoon. That, you know, if you thought you were getting a vacation, and now you're a prisoner, and you can't leave the island. And you also owe him millions of dollars. That's what ruined the game for me. I started it one day. I found that out, and I'm like, I don't like this. Maybe I can just go ahead and build stuff. And it was like, no. So I slept in my tent, and I made it my own. And that's the last time I played. That's how my character's living. Inspired of Mr. Nook, if you will. He's the worst. Literally made it to level 25 with just a stick and pals. Hey yo. It's like America. Not yet. Give it time. Maybe. Okay. We're at the guy losing another tooth. Oi, bruv. The guy in the car shouted. Mate, I was talking to you. Sorry, mate, I responded, still looking at Damien. He just stared at me and smiled. He didn't blink. He didn't even seem to be breathing. The customer repeated what he wanted, and then it dawned on me that in order for me to scan it through, I was going to have to go up to the counter and stand right next to that creep. A pang of nerves at my gut. But I had to do what I had to do. I grabbed his drinks from the fridge and made my way around to the back of the counter. Of course, the scan tool decided to shut itself right as I was using it, so I had to stuff around for even longer than I planned on doing. He was right next to me, but I didn't look at him once. I was too scared. I walked around and gave the customer stuff, and he sped away without so much as a thank you. Finally, the clock on the wall ticked over at 6:55 p.m., and it was time to close. As I turned around to grab the keys from the counter, I yelled. He had been standing right behind me. "Jesus Christ, Damien," I yelled. I was scared. I actually don't know why I yelled that. He didn't change. He continued to smile. I just need to lock up and get out of here, I thought to myself. I walked around him and, with a newfound sense of bravery, grabbed the keys and went over to the roller doors. I went around, locked everything, not even caring to check the whereabouts of my colleague. As I crouched down to to lock the last roller into place, I noticed I had goosebumps. I wasn't even sure why. Then my blood ran cold as I looked in the reflection of the fridge right in front of me. He was right behind me. My fight or flight reaction kicked in. I turned around, punched him in his liver, and sprinted as fast as I physically could to the nearest lockable door, the bathroom. As I rounded the corner to the back, I heard heavy footsteps behind me, way too heavy to proportionally match Damien's stature. Way too fast to be human. I'm just imagining, the twist is Damien's just autistic, and OP's just an asshole. I threw the men's bathroom door open and slammed it behind me, locking it on instinct. No sooner than I locked the door than a deafening bang sounded upon it. He was right outside. Words cannot describe the fear I was in. I'm not usually easily scared or anything, and I don't think that my recounting of these events does justice to the horror that could be felt under these circumstances. I'm going to read the comments in a section. We're almost done. There was silence for a second, and then an extensive series of bangs rang out on the door. It was like there were 10 men out there, all banging on the door at once. It was such a strong sound. Slowly, it picked up its pace. Soon the banging was recurring at a seemingly impossible speed. There was not a single chance that whatever was out there was human. No human in the world could ever hit the door as hard and fast as he was. Then, finally, it stopped. Silence. I saw the door handle tremble slowly. I remember thinking to myself, is he just trying to open the door? The trembling stopped, and so too did the commotion of the evening. I called Sam like 7 or 8 times, but he didn't pick up at all. I just stayed there in that bathroom for hours. I was too scared to do anything. In retrospect, I have no idea why I didn't just call the cops. My adrenaline was so spiked that the only option in my mind was to call Sam for some reason. Finally, after an eternity, my phone buzzed. It was Sam. I answered straight away before I could say anything, his voice ringing loudly in my ear. "Jack, I know you're probably frustrated. Well, that's no way to respond to a situation outside of my control. I've been in and out of meetings all evening. You knew that. Jesus, were you so busy you couldn't handle the drive-thru on your own? Sam, you have no idea what happened. He is crazy. I think I need to call the cops." Just as I was about to launch into informing him of the night's events, his words turned over in my mind. "Wait, Sam, what are you talking about? What do you mean I couldn't handle the drive-thru on my own?" "Jack, I've already apologized that the trainee didn't show up. He said he was sick and wouldn't be able to come in. Still, no reason to give me an earful for it." My stomach dropped. The new guy never showed up. "Oh, nah, he didn't show up. He was sick. He said he'd come in next week to trial with you." Sorry, you've got to do another weekend on your own, mate. And his words sound like a ton of bricks in the air. I hung up on him. I swung open the door and looked at the door handle. It had bite marks on it of a very specific formation. This is how he lost his teeth. The bite indentations on the wood had one upper tooth missing and one lower tooth missing. I checked everywhere in the store. There were no signs of a struggle. Whatever it was had just vanished. I don't know where it went. Every time I think about what went down tonight, the realization just sets in on me again. The real trainee never showed. I have no idea who or what I worked with tonight. That was the story. Okay, let's see what you guys were saying. Let's scroll up. I love that everyone stemmed oi. Yeah, if you heard me laugh shortly after, that's what it was. I was like, yes, perfect. It never fails to cheer me up. Yeah. I did it audibly, instantly, so I understand completely. Open my windows while I eat. One of my crystals is catching the light perfectly and putting little rainbows everywhere. It sounds nice. And lose tooth just like that. It's a real Charlie Kelly. The concept of specifically punching the liver. Listen, I believe OP is allegedly British, isn't it? And yeah, they're everyone's bulldog boxers or chip eaters. You know, one or the other. Sounds nice. Sounds nice, Dilly. Someone who has liver pains at times? F. Not great. I'll take a video and throw it in the Discord to share. Nice. What's up, nudes? Welcome in. Yeah. Hi. Our coffee is already getting room temperature. What? I don't know. I'm surprised. The passage of time, you know. Which is all coffee cool. This one sounds kind of interesting, so we might do that. Which one of these are shorter? Yeah, this one's very short. We'll start with this one. This one is titled, Every Time the Lamp Flickers. I think this has to be my favorite day of the year. The first cold front coming through after an oppressively hot summer along the coast is a blessed change. A far... Oh wow. Oh wow. Thank you very much, Bobby. Yeesh. There used to be a thing up here that was for gifted subs. So I'll let you know about it if you're interested. You can choose a keyword, a phrase, or I guess a keyword. And there's a subreddit here called ASMR Script Haven. So if you would like me to find a mostly say so script to read with a keyword of your choosing, I will do that. And you also get to pick any redeem that you would like. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the story. And yeah. But thank you very much again. It's very unexpected and very sweet. Very much appreciated. A far cry from the 100% humidity we cope with every day. The air has a crisp quality that makes me want to spend the entire day outside. As evening set in, getting darker earlier and earlier as the year goes forward, I clicked on the lamp beside the couch, wrapped a light blanket around my legs, and settled down to read the latest novel by my favorite author. The wind was whipping hard outside. I could clearly hear it, but somehow it gave me comfort. I was barely past the last chapter when the light from the lamp flickered. The way the wind was blowing, it came as no surprise that we may lose power, or at the very least, have it blink in and out. So, I wasn't fazed. I got up and lit candles around the house just in case. When I sat back down with my book, I stared at the page. I couldn't remember where I had left off. I flipped back a couple of pages and nothing seemed familiar to me. It was as though I was reading the words for the first time. I tried to think of the last thing that I could remember from the story and flipped back to find it. It was several chapters back. I shrugged it off. I attributed it to the sort of dissociative state. Everyone has those from time to time, like when you're driving home after a long day and zoning out. Then suddenly you realize you're nearly home. It had to be something along those lines. No harm, no foul, just pick up from where I left off. I made it about 5 pages before the lights flickered again. So I got up to light candles, just in case I lost power. But there are candles lit. I don't remember doing that. I walked through all of the rooms and each one had a lit candle. I could tell by the amount of wax melted that they weren't lit long. You would think I wouldn't remember lighting them. As I crossed to the kitchen, I saw the lamp in the living room flicker. I looked around the kitchen and couldn't remember what I came in for. Maybe a cup of tea on a cold, blustery night. I filled the kettle and sat down on the burner, then headed back to the couch while I waited to hear it whistle. I decided to text my best friend, Stacy, and tell her about my strange night. I told her about not remembering the book, not remembering lighting the candles, and that I still don't know why I went to the kitchen, but a cup of tea sounded nice. She got back to me asking if I had been in any sort of accident, if I had taken a tumble and hurt my head, or anything that could account for my memory loss. I told her I hadn't, that it had been an uneventful day at home and nothing of note happened. She told me to let her know if anything else happened, that she was worried about me, and I said I would. As the kettle whistled, I set down my phone and went to make a cup of tea. I curled up back on the couch while my tea steeped on the end table next to the lamp. After about 2 minutes, I reached for my tea and the lamp flickered. I picked up my cup and blew on it as my phone chimed that I had gotten a message. It said that it was from someone named Stacy. I don't know anyone by that name. I opened the message and read it. It said that she was just checking on me. This made no sense. I scrolled up, there were messages back and forth between us, and it went on and on. I made my way back to where she says that she's checking on me, and read what was written right above it. It said that I had been having trouble remembering things, but I have no idea what could have caused it. This really started to freak me out. Then, the lamp flickered. I like it. It reminded me of the story of the guy who was like in a coma, and I think like everything was going pretty great for a while, like while he was asleep, and he thought he was actually like living. Then his like wife left him, and I think something happened to his kid, and he was like at home, and then his lamp started flickering or doing something like really weird, and he couldn't like break his focus off the lamp. And then, like, he woke up and found out that he had been in a coma for some amount of time. And, but, like, he felt like he had lived, like, 20 or 30 years, started a family and everything. That's one of my biggest fears. It sounds like the worst psychological horror imaginable to, like, feel like you're in reality. And have a family, have everything that you've ever wanted, have things that you've struggled with that you're doing, whether it be like, you know, like exercising and like working towards things that you've always wanted, and having that very real struggle, only to wake up and find out that the past 20 or 30 years have not been well, and that it's only been, a week or a few days. It's, sounds horrific. Because you're going to be struggling with that loss. Let's see, let's scroll up. There's blankets and magic in the voice here. Don't know about that, but thank you. Just listening with your coffee. Yay, coffee. That reminds me, I need to drink mine before it gets cold. Those in the tofu door scored. I did throw rocks and rainbows in the chat. Maybe we should make a media channel there? No channels. Unless, if you guys really want a media channel, we can do it. I don't like a lot of channels, but, if it's something you guys want, I'll give you a media channel. Flavored or black? Black coffee's best coffee? Yeah. Vanilla coffee, mate. I'm a simple girl. Fair. I remember the story. Yeah, horrible. Have a good look on me. Sounds good. I'm enjoying a simple sweet cream myself today. That's a good that's good. That's good. Again, Bailey's seems like a good choice for today, or just in general. I think it's about the only way that I'll pour creamer in my coffee, unless again, the sweet drink rule, the cold sweet drink rule. That's a different thing. I'm never tired of the sounds. Great. I'm so glad you enjoy it. I don't mind having it all on the general channel. Yeah. I don't mind it being in the general chat either. Well, if it's something everyone wants, or if we can put a poll, I think, in Discord. I don't know. Remind me and I'll do that. That way we can get everyone's opinion and maybe make a media channel. I don't know. I like a smaller amount of flavor. I had a sugar explosion nightmare that was a milkshake cosplaying as coffee the other day. And that was a shock to my senses. That's fair, if you're not expecting it, Don. But that's I'm either I want my coffee black so I can taste it. I want my coffee with Bailey's because it's a nice flavor, but also alcohol is pretty cool. I'm saying that with a very mild /s. Or the milkshake coffees. I unironically love the milkshake coffees. When we play D&D, we'll normally go and get that's when I'll get the very sweet cold. It's a caramel frappuccino, but they do it right because there's still very much that coffee flavor. Not flavor, there's very much the coffee taste. And so normally I'll get 1 or 2 extra espresso shots in there to really really amplify it. It's good. I like them. But you have to know what you're getting into. If you're expecting it to be coffee forward and it's not, yeah, that can definitely be a shock to your senses. Absolutely. For my family reunion, I buy the gallon of Bailey's for the kitchen for the adults. Nice. Yeah, listen, a Stilly family reunion does legitimately sound like a wonderful time. Cookouts, nature, and tons of booze. Sounds great. I think I would end up just kind of being on the couch constantly. Oh God, I can't move. I had too much to drink. Make me food, please. I also love those. Just dessert in a cup. Yeah, Eggy got one. We went out yesterday to do errands, and which is why I ended up not streaming. Also had work to do. Otherwise, I would have streamed when I got back. But yeah, we went out for lunch afterwards. A nice big southern lunch. But they have new drinks there. We haven't been to this place in ages. And she got like a mocha iced coffee or something. It was very sweet, but what I really liked about it was that it very much had the coffee. It was also coffee forward. You could taste the coffee in it. They did it right. I was kind of shocked. I wasn't expecting it from that place. Oh, I got the fried chicken. These were huge, huge breasts. They were yummy. And the gravy was cool. The sides, I upgraded. You know, I got like the loaded mashed potatoes and loaded mac and cheese. Don't do that. It's a waste. At a lot of, some places it's definitely worth it, but it was missing half the toppings that I said it was gonna have, and the mac and cheese was just bad. I was hoping that like the stuff would kind of carry it, make it cool. Yeah, the potatoes were okay. They were missing the chives, but it's fine. It's fine. It's like one of those mac and cheese Dilly that is like, like how they can get like oily. You know what I mean? Like it's like the oily mixed with cheese, but it's kind of bland. So you're relying on like spices and any things that you add to it to carry the flavor. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. I normally don't get it like when we go there. I think about the only mac and cheese that I'll get is like, if we go to Outback, like their loaded mac and cheese is usually pretty good. I should have ate more when I was in the South. I think I missed out. Yeah, definitely. Like, our food is bad, like bad for you, but it tastes great. And, yeah. Chicken breast always seems to dry. Listen, I'm gonna agree with you. If it's not cooked right, yeah. But like, I don't know how they do it, but I think like, I think it's just fried chicken. So it was actually like the inside of it, even though I don't like thick pieces of chicken because it seems like they're never cooked right, or like it's gonna be weird texture. But surprisingly not. It was cooked well, and was like when I cut into it, I don't know, maybe it was because they fried it, but it was like really juicy on the inside. But normally I'll agree, like if I'm just gonna eat, fried chicken legs. Nothing beats chicken legs to me. They are the best. They're the best. The only time I like chicken breast is like in chicken salad. Or if it's like a chicken sandwich, it's good. That's about the only time I'm gonna have chicken breast though. But besides that, give me them legs. Just like real life. Ooh. Oh, wow. There's a barbecue place here, and it's fantastic except their mac, and it makes me so sad. Yeah, you gotta have like good mac and cheese and like cornbread. And like even nowadays greens, like if greens are done right, they could be really good. You gotta get them spicy though. Love fried chicken. Yeah. That's like a universal food that I don't care where you're at, who you are. You're probably gonna like fried chicken. Up there with seafood as favorite foods. Seafood's like something that I hated growing up, but I'm more open to it now. I'm probably not gonna like I think sushi is kind of what changed that. Like it's not bad. And then like anything like any fried fish is gonna be pretty good. We don't often go for seafood though, but I'm not opposed to it anymore. I'm not gonna be a little pouty poopy pants if we go with someone that's wanting seafood anymore. When I was a kid though, we used to go to this one, like so much of my grandparents, and I was like I would get like corn dogs and stuff. I can't stand shrimp. Can't cockroaches of the sea will forever maintain that. No, it's not the most popular opinion with people. It's fair, though. It's fair. But, like, the corn dogs, I guess, would be fried in the same grease that they would fry, like, the shrimp in. So, like, you'd have, like, fishy-tasting corn dogs. Ah. Wings and thighs can be amazing, but they're hit or miss. Fair. I feel like, we used to have a really good wing place that was part of a chain here that closed down. So now all we have is the Buffalo Wild Wings. And that place, like, the sauce was better. And they actually gave you tons of it. A couple of times we went to Buffalo Wild Wings. Like, the sauce it's just not enough of it. And it's like, so much more expensive now, man. It sucks. Breadcrumbs on mac, yay or nay? Listen, I'm gonna say yay. You gotta have that. It's a little bit of green onions. And then some crumbled bacon. Not bacon bits, but actual, like, freshly cooked bacon. It's crumbled in. And, like, I like the thin spirally noodles. There's some sort of sauce that they use, I think, at Outback. But that's my favorite mac and cheese, is Outback's. It has, like, some sort of spice to it, but it's not, like, too much. And it's good. It's good. As long as it's baked, yay. Fair. I grew up eating stuff like fried catfish, grew into baked salmon. Salmon's not bad. Sue turned me onto that. And then found sushi as an adult. For me, it was always so good. That's fair. That's fair. Like, I'm always going to stay away from shrimp, but fried fish nowadays is pretty cool. The most way that I consume fish nowadays is sushi. It's pretty cool. It's pretty good. What's up, Mega? Tofu. How you doing, Red? Let's have this up to cover. 1, 2, 3. I grew up processing whole chickens. So I think I like the breast because it's the easiest part to get. Even though I don't do that anymore. That doesn't sound fun, Stilly, but it's like the, when you eat it, you're like, I made someone's day a little bit easier because I'm choosing to eat this. Yeah. They are the cockroaches of the sea, but they're still delicious. Like, if I'm eating shrimp, Don, it's gonna be like the very tiny ones that are like heavily breaded. It's the texture for me. That and like seeing the veins. I don't like it. It's just, it's not for me. I'll eat it in sushi. Because it's like just such a small amount. Same with crab. Or like lobster. Like I'll eat it in sushi, but I'm never going to order it. Like if we go to a seafood place, you know. Not a seafood person outside of shrimp and sushi though. That's probably mostly because I haven't really ate a lot. I feel like it's one of those things like where, if you're like, you know, if you're frying it, the breading and the spices really, really carry it. And if you're like getting it not fried, if it's like baked or something, the spices, yeah, you gotta season. Just with any food, you gotta season it properly. You know, like a burger without even just salt and pepper. Don't even bother. Not my shrimp arrabbiata spaghetti getting no love. It sounds fancy, Bobby. It sounds fancy. So I'll give you points for fancy. I love seafood. I mean, you'd have to, Sonoma. Like, the amount of time you spent in Japan, I feel like, you know, yeah, you'd have to. You'd have to eat some. I've had theirs. I've been craving a boomerang of margaritas. What is this? A boomerang of margaritas? Sounds like a lot. I'm just imagining like a total of 5 margaritas just placed on a boomerang. Maybe it'll be an adventure after payday. Sounds exciting. I don't know what that is, but I would try it once. Listen, when you're poor, you learn things. That's valid. That's valid. Shrimp spaghetti with a spicy tomato sauce. I'll support it. But I can't do too spicy because I'm about as pale as tofu. Listen, like a good amount of spice coming in is great, but that I can handle, and I'll leave it there because I'm confident you follow my train of thought. I could do the shrimp cocktail thing. I don't like cocktail sauce. Should go reheat dinner. Yeah, go ahead and eat too. Go ahead and eat. You should also be maybe doing something a little bit different with your time. Wink, wonk, and stare. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In terms of Texas, though, I'm Houston. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of seafood and Tex-Mex. I called it earlier. And I feel validated now. So thank you. Thank you. Mix it with the regular spaghetti sauce to lower the heat, but it's a kick of spice at most. Sounds good. You haven't seen the boomerang of margaritas. It's 4 small margs served on a boomerang. F. Why do they gotta be small? I was imagining like the big glasses. Nourishment is important. Agreed. You criticize my choice of time spending? I'm happy you're here, but maybe criticizing is too harsh of a word. You do what you want. You do what you want, lady. I'm happy to have you here with me. I'm never gonna complain about that, but still. I was like, did he remember that or sense it? Wait, what? What? About the Texas thing? The comment made me, about the drive-through liquor stores. I was like, that's 100% Texas. I don't think there's any other state that would do it. They're the most free and dangerous state. The last vestiges of the Wild West. Texas. That needs to be your new slogan. This is going to sound so great on a license plate or like a commercial. The last vestiges of the Wild West. Texas. Oh no. I'm imagining like the... Never mind. I'm not going to go there. Never mind. We can beat him up for me. I'm not going to comment stilly. Because I'm a say-so boy. I'm a say-so boy. Are you commenting on your own? Wait, what? He's a say-so boy. I am. I'm a very say-so boy. Yeah. I forget things. That's what the last story was about, so. F. Really quick, I'm going to take a very quick break, get some more coffee, and, yeah, we'll be back. So, if you haven't done it yet, go reheat your food, go give someone a hug, and, if you need to leave, it's okay. I'm not going to be upset. I'll be right back. Do you guys want, potentially dancing tofu or just the be right back screen before I leave? You can dance for us? Sounds great. Give me about 2 minutes. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Did I manage to dance this time? That's the question. Also, I don't know if she'll still do it, but I got Eggie to agree to, once she gets off work, go on back and swing some mace. So, yay. It's been a while since I swung the heavy mace. Or heavier mace. Heavy to me. So I'm really hoping that it's gonna make my shoulders and neck feel better afterwards. Like more relaxed or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I have something to look forward to. It's a mace, without spikes. And it's very long, like a two-handed mace. And there's different exercises that you can do with it. Mainly mine's 360s, 180s, and the ballistic curls and the squat with it. Yeah. It makes exercising a lot more fun. But we got her a 7.5 pound one that's significantly shorter. Yeah. That, we were gonna be doing it a lot together, but we haven't. And I've been using it for whenever I'm just too lazy to go outside. So, yeah. It was corpse tofu, not dancing tofu. I'm so sorry. There was no entertainment to be had. Pretty stationary. I think I'm gonna ask Carl to go to the indoor range for our bows later. Nice. We were talking about that. After we did the rock climbing thing, we were I was we should do this every weekend, forever. I love this. She was maybe not that, but we should go out and do more stuff on the weekends. So one of the ideas we have a buddy that's a huge gun guy, and I'm not necessarily. I own one, but I don't know. I'm not a big gun guy. But we're thinking about maybe going to the shooting range and with him and a couple of other friends, just kind of going out and doing more things that we normally wouldn't do. So we get that time together. We get that time to go out and do something interesting. I asked her last night while we were right before I went to bed, or before I tried to sleep. I was hey, do you want to see if the boys want to go out and do rock climbing sometime? She was yeah. So I think we have an escape room next, I think Thursday too, with her mom and stepfather. So that should be pretty fun. It's been a while since we've done one. It's the Da Vinci Code room. So I feel I'm going to be really, really, really bad at it. But, yeah. Let me take a sip of my coffee. I'll stop rambling and we can get back to stories. It's good to try new things. I'm glad you guys are getting out. Me too. We're very much homebodies, so it's nice to, get out and do something occasionally. Take my rambles any day. Thank you, Stelly. Unfortunately, my dick is still here, which sucks, but that's where we're at for now. Maybe it'll go away later. Maybe I just need to drink water and stop drinking coffee all day. Advil? No. I try not to take any stuff unless it's debilitating. Yeah. But we have a story here titled, "A Man Mugged Me Last Month. He didn't take my wallet, but he took something I could never get back." Same paranoid about my stomach lining? Yeah, it's unhealthy as I eat sometimes. Like, already have, like, you know, burgers and everything, like acid dump coffee on it, more acid. It's like, you know what? let's thin that lining out even more. Oh, oh. See, I'll take Advil before water because I'm a child. Fair. I don't think you're a child though. You know, it doesn't mean you're a child or weak or anything else like that. Yeah. Oi, bruv. Anyway, story time. I'm writing this because I have no other way to speak. The police report just says aggravated assault. They don't understand. They can't. Before all this, my voice was my life. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh God, maybe I shouldn't read this. My voice is how I make a living. It was more than my life. It was my purpose. Every day I'd find a corner in this sprawling, indifferent city and I would preach. I'm a young man, and I know how it looks. Some people would scoff, others would hurry past, some would just listen. I never shouted fire and brimstone. I spoke of hope, of finding light in the cracks of this concrete jungle. My voice was a bell. It was strong, resonant, a gift I believed was given to me to share. I could feel the words vibrate in my chest, a physical force I could project across a busy square, cutting through the traffic and the noise to reach a person who needed to hear it. That feeling, it was like truly being alive. It all ended a month ago. It was a Tuesday. I'd finished late, my throat raw, but my spirit soaring. I'd had a good day. A few people had stopped to talk, to share their burdens. I was walking home, taking a shortcut I'd taken 100 times before. It's a narrow alley, poorly lit. Spits you out a block from my apartment building. It always felt like a little secret passage, a moment of quiet between the roar of Main Street and the hum of my residential block. That night, the quiet was different. It was heavy, predatory. He was just a shape in the deepest part of the shadow, halfway down the alley. I only saw him when I was almost on top of him. My first thought was of a homeless man, and my hand instinctively went to my wallet, not out of fear, but to give him what little cash I had. God bless you, brother, I started to say, but the words died in my throat. He wasn't a homeless man. He was wrong. Gaunt is the word, but it doesn't do him justice. It was like his skin was a size too big for the bones beneath, stretched tight over a frame that seemed impossibly thin. His eyes were just bits of shadow in the dim light. There was a smell too, like damp, turned earth and old paper. He moved faster than I could react. One moment he was a shape. The next his hand was clamped on my arm. It was shockingly cold. A dead, bloodless cold that seeped through my jacket. I did what anyone would. I opened my mouth and I screamed. It was a good, solid scream born of pure terror, full of all the power I'd put into my sermons. It should have echoed off the brick walls and brought people running, but it didn't. The man, the stick figure of a person, didn't flinch. He didn't try to silence me. Instead, he leaned in, his face inches from mine, and as I screamed, he did something I still can't comprehend. He inhaled. It wasn't a normal breath. It was a deep, rattling, impossible inhalation, a vacuum. I felt it. I felt my voice, The very sound and force and vibration of it being pulled from my lungs, torn from my throat. It was a physical sensation like a string being yanked from the core of my being. The scream thinned, wavered, and then nothing. It was just gone. My mouth was still open, my lungs were still heaving, but there was no sound. Only a terrifying, profound silence where my voice should have been. The man straightened up, a flicker of something like satisfaction in his shadowy eyes. He didn't take my wallet. He didn't touch me again. He just released my arm, turned and melted back into the shadows at the end of the alley. I stood there for a long time, trying to call for help, trying to make any sound at all. I could breathe, I could cough, but the part of me that made noise was just gone. It was like trying to flex a phantom limb. The machinery was there, but the signal wasn't connecting. The first few days were a blur of panic visits to doctors and specialists. I carried a small notepad and pen everywhere. I was mugged. I screamed and my voice just stopped. They looked at me with pity. An ENT specialist threaded a camera down my nose and into my throat. He showed me the monitor. "Look," he said, pointing. "Vocal cords are perfect. No swelling, no paralysis, no nodes. Physically, there's absolutely no reason you shouldn't be able to speak." They gave it a name: conversion disorder. Severe psychological trauma manifesting as a physical symptom. And my mind, they said, had been so shocked by the attack that it had switched my voice off to protect me. It was a plausible scientific explanation. It made sense to everyone but me. I went to my mentors, the older preachers who had guided me. I sat in a heavy oak chair in a quiet study, the air thick with the smell of old books, and scribbled my story onto a legal pad. They read it, their faces etched with concern. "The enemy works in many ways, my son," said one of them, his own voice a comforting baritone. "He seeks to silence the messengers of the Lord. This was a traumatic event. The shock has stolen your tongue for a time. But you must have faith. Pray. Rest. Let God heal your mind and your voice will return." Psychological? Everyone agreed. I was the victim of a violent crime and my mind had broken in a specific, unusual way. I tried to believe them. I really did. I prayed. I rested. I filled notebooks with my silent sermons, with my desperate pleas to God. But I knew what I had felt. It wasn't my mind breaking. It was theft. I felt the void inside my chest where my resonance used to be. It was a hollow space and emptiness that ached with silence. Life became a quiet nightmare. The world felt like it was behind a pane of glass. Couldn't work. I couldn't preach. I couldn't even order coffee without the awkward dance of pointing and writing. I was a ghost in my own life. My very identity ripped away from me. The silence was the loudest thing I had ever experienced. Then, exactly 1 week after the attack, the real horror began. I was in my apartment trying to read. The window was open, letting in the night air and the distant sounds of the city. At first, it was just a murmur, a sound on the edge of hearing. I almost dismissed it as a car radio or a passing argument. There was something about the cadence, something familiar. I went to the window and leaned out, listening. The sound rose and fell, carried on the wind. And then I heard it clearly. a single phrase echoing from a few streets over. And I tell you, your neighbor's compassion is a weakness you can exploit. I froze. A cold sweat prickled my entire body. It was my voice. There was no mistaking it. It was my pitch, my timbre, my particular way of drawing out certain vowels when I was making a point. It was a voice I used to have every day to speak of love and forgiveness. But the words were poison. They were a vile, twisted mockery of everything I had ever preached. I grabbed my keys and ran out of the building, my heart hammering against my ribs. I sprinted down the street chasing the sound. It seemed to be coming from a small park 2 blocks away. By the time I got there, breathless and frantic, there was nothing. Just a few people walking their dogs, a couple on a bench. The park was quiet. The voice was gone. I tried to tell myself that I was hallucinating, auditory hallucination a symptom of the trauma. That's what the doctors would say. My mind was playing tricks on me, creating a phantom of my lost voice. It made sense. But the next night, it happened again. This time it was a little closer. It sounded like it was coming from the rooftop of the building across the street. I stood at my window, listening, my blood turning to ice. Look upon the desperate and see not a soul to be saved, but a tool to be used. Their hope is a currency, and you should spend it freely. It was my voice, but it was being used to preach a gospel of pure, undiluted evil. It spoke of selfishness as a virtue, of cruelty as a strength. It was a sermon from hell, delivered with the same passion, the convincing tone I had once used to bring comfort to the lost. I watched the rooftop for half an hour, but saw no one. The voice just preached its filth into the night air, and then, as if a switch had been flipped, it stopped. Yahoy. Welcome in, Alice. And yeah, Stilly, drink water. Gotta drink water every day, bro. Come on. Bring back r/hydro homies. Every night after that, it got closer. The one night it was from the alley behind my building. The next it was from the street corner right below my window. I'd rushed down and there was never anyone there. It was a ghost. I was starting to unravel. I wasn't sleeping. I'd sit in the dark by the window, waiting, dreading the moment I'd hear myself start to speak. My friends and mentors from the church would check in on me. I tried to explain, scribbling frantically on my notepad. I can hear my voice. Someone is using it. It's saying terrible things. They'd share those same looks of pity. It's trauma, they'd say gently. Your mind is trying to process what happened. Perhaps it's a manifestation of your anger, of your fear. They thought I was losing my mind, and to be honest, I was starting to believe them. Was this my new reality, trapped in silence, haunted by a twisted version of myself? Last night, I decided I couldn't live like that. Crazy or not, I had to confront it. When the voice started up, closer than ever before, seemingly from the very same alley where I'd lost it, I didn't hesitate. I grabbed the heaviest flashlight I owned and went out to face my ghost. The alley looked exactly the same, and the voice, it was here. It was loud, bouncing off the walls, a torrent of beautiful, persuasive, horrific words. For True power lies not in the lifting up of others, but in the certainty that you can push them down. It was coming from the far end of the alley, and as I crept closer, my flashlight beam cutting a nervous path through the gloom, I saw him. It was the same gaunt man, the same scarecrow figure. He wasn't alone. They had someone cornered, a young woman, pressed back against the brick wall. She was staring up at him, her eyes wide, but not with terror. It was more like fascination. She was mesmerized. The voice was pouring out of him, but his lips weren't moving in sync with the words. It was like a badly dubbed movie. The sound, my sound, was emanating from his chest, a perfect, seamless broadcast of my stolen voice twisted to its purpose. My blood ran cold, but then a different fire ignited in its place. Righteous anger, the kind of fire I used to channel into my sermons. I am a shepherd, and this was a wolf amongst the flock. Then he saw me. The flashlight beam caught his face and his hollow eyes locked onto mine. The voice cut off abruptly, plunging the alley into a sudden shocking silence. The woman blinked as if waking from a dream, and a flicker of real fear finally crossed her face. The gaunt man tilted his head. He didn't seem surprised to see me. A dry, raspy sound, like dead leaves skittering across pavement, escaped his throat. It might have been a chuckle. Then he spoke, and this time, the voice was his own. It was a whisper. You came back. The fire in you is strong. It seasons the sound. He knew. He was talking to me, but he seemed to understand my silent questions. I took a step forward, raising the flashlight like a club. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just knew I couldn't let him hurt that woman. You wonder how, he rasped, his eyes never leaving mine. It's a gift. I take the instruments of conviction, the preacher's sermon, the politician's promise, the lover's whisper. I drink the sound, and I use the leftover faith to draw them in. He gestured with his chin towards the woman who was now trembling. They hear a voice they want to believe. They come closer. The walls come down. And it makes the rest so much easier. I had no voice to shout a warning. I had no words to condemn him. All I had was my conviction. In a single desperate motion, I did the only thing I could. I threw myself at him. I'm not a big man, and he was unnaturally strong, but the surprise of the attack was enough. I slammed into him, and we both went down in a tangle of limbs. Run! I mouthed at the woman, a silent, desperate scream. For a second, she was frozen, and then her survival instinct kicked in. She scrambled away, her footsteps echoing down the alley as she fled into the night. I felt a flash of triumph. It was short-lived. The thief threw me off of him in an effortless, terrifying strength. I landed hard against a brick wall, the air knocked out of me. Before I could recover, he was on top of me, one of his cold skeletal hands wrapped around my throat. He leaned down, his face once again inches from mine. The foul, earthly smell was overwhelming. "A pointless gesture," he hissed, his voice a dry rustle in the dark. "Your flock has scattered, and the shepherd is about to be devoured." His grip tightened, and I felt my consciousness start to slip. He was laughing, that same dead leaf sound, and then he opened his mouth. I will see it in my nightmares for the rest of my life, however long that may be. It wasn't a mouth anymore. It stretched, unhinged, widened, the flesh pulling apart and distorting in a way that defied all physics, all biology. It kept opening, wider and wider, until his entire head seemed to be nothing but a gaping maw, a perfect circle of absolute starless black. It was a hole in the world. I could hear a faint, high-pitched ringing coming from it, a sound that seemed to pull away at the very edges of my soul. He was lowering this void down over my face, and I knew, with a certainty that went beyond terror, that he was going to consume me. Not just my body, but everything I was. And then, a sound of a siren cut through the darkness. It started faint and far away, but it grew louder, closer, wailing through the night. The thief froze. The black hole of his mouth receded, snapping back into the shape of a thin, bloodless line. A look of pure annoyance crossed his gaunt features. With a final, contemptuous hiss, he released my throat, scrambled back to his feet, and was gone. He didn't run, just faded into the deepest shadows at the end of the alley and vanished. I lay there, gasping, dragging in ragged, silent breaths as the police screeched to a halt in the mouth of the alley. The woman I had saved had found them. Of course, they didn't believe the real story. They found me battered and bruised and the victim hysterical. To them, it was just a mugging gone wrong and attempted assault. The woman tried to explain about the voice, about how she felt like she was in a trance, but they just nodded and wrote it down as a symptom of shock. When they asked me for my statement, all I could do was pull out my little notepad. They called in a psychologist from the victim service unit. They were kind, they were professional, and they were completely useless. So here I am. My throat is bruised, but the doctors say I'll be fine. Physically. My voice has not returned. I know it won't. It's still out there with him. I'm writing this because I am a preacher, and a preacher's job is to spread the word. This is my new pulpit. This is my new sermon. That thing is still out there. He's hunting in my city, and he's using my voice to do it. He might be hunting in yours too. So, please, I beg you, listen. If you're walking home at night and you hear a voice from a dark street, a voice that sounds impossibly trustworthy, impossibly convincing, a voice that speaks of hope but makes you feel a creeping dread, run. listen. Don't let the words take root because it might be a politician's promise or a lover's whisper, or it might be mine. Bum bum. Did you hear the pop? Did you hear that pop? Oof. Oh, it's so deep, it messed up it messed up your configuration. Oh no. What's up, Judah? It's been a while. Hope you're doing well. And thank you for the stretch. I need it. My neck is so... Ugh. And... Meow-hoy. Meow-hoy. Welcome in, Minari. Welcome in. Let me take a sip of coffee. It's good as Skinwalker and Siren Love baby vibes? What? I understand Skinwalker, I understand Siren. Oh, okay, no, I get it. Never mind, it took me a second. I settled on playing Limbo to fit the vibes. What the hell's Limbo? Let's see. I'm at least gonna read one more story. I at least got one more in me. It's a spooky side scroller. Ooh. Ooh. Excuse me. God, this is such a silly one. The cabins in Alaska are reproducing. Lots of spiders. Ugh. Puzzles. That's the true horror, isn't it? And the story, while silly, titled, maybe it's not a silly story, is way too long. So, not doing that. We'll see about this one. Nope. This one seems like it's a lot of back and forth, but I hate whenever they don't tell you who's talking. So it's like, it's a little bit hard to voice. Because like, I don't know who's talking. Yeah. It's like, you can do that in a way where it's like obvious. Or where it seems natural. But sometimes they miss the mark, you know? Understandable. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'll keep this one open. I'll see if I can find a slightly shorter one. The one we just opened is titled, "There's only one rule to remember if you see the button hook men. Don't tell a soul they exist." That was a big struggle when I read Flowers for Algernon. Fair. I think we had to read that back in school. I'm not sure. I forget. You know what? We found a continuation in a series that we were reading. Let me make sure that we're on track, that we didn't miss part. I don't think we've read this either. Actually, now that I'm checking out the thing, let's read their narration policy. We will not do that. They say that they would like to be DM'd or emailed, and that they pretty much always say yes, but they just kind of want to be given a heads up, which, yeah, makes sense. But we won't read this one because we haven't asked for. We're gonna abide by their policy. We're gonna respect it. None of these are popping out at me. What time is it now? It's both like somehow later than I thought it was and not. We don't want to read a series. Maybe I'll stop reading series because that seems to kind of be the thing that ends up happening. Oh, this is interesting. I talked to a man who says he's stuck in an endless cycle, and some of the things he talked about are coming true. I read it for fun in middle school, and then in high school, it was an assignment, so I was just sitting there waiting for everyone else to catch up. Nice. My brain keeps reading the name in chat overlay as Miss Tilio. Some people do. If it's any condolences, I do own boobs, but pronouns are made up. And whose line is it anyways? That was a show. Okay, we're gonna read this story. We can chat for a little bit afterwards if you guys want. Me. Here we are. Let me preface this by saying that I do not know this man. I can't find his name anywhere on social media or any sort of database. Believe me, I tried. It started last Friday. I was getting ready for Halloween and I spent most of the day outside carving pumpkins on my porch. My hands were coated in the slimy guts and pumpkin seeds when I saw someone walking down the street. He was tall, about 6'2". He had short curly hair and a thick beard that seemingly swallowed his lips. He had a button-up flannel shirt, overalls, and a straw hat. He looked like any old farmer that passed by the house on a tractor, so I paid no mind to him until he stopped in front of my house and just stared at me. I did the courteous thing and waved at him, and he waved back in turn, yet I didn't budge. Also, while I'm thinking about it, if you're still here, Bobby, if there's a script from ASMR Script Haven that you would like me to read, or a keyword that you want to give me to search for, let me know, and we'll do that after this. That's my way of saying thank you for the subs, and thank you again. Can I help you? You always say that. I'm sorry? Never mind. Okay. I went back to the pumpkins and started drawing the patterns for the jack-o'-lanterns. I was deep in concentration when I noticed the man was now walking up to me. I put my marker down and spoke. Change your mind? No, but do you mind if I help? I thought it was odd to have a stranger carve pumpkins with me, but I had bought 12, so I took the help. He was gifted with the knife, or he put an elaborate design that looked exactly like the spiral hill from The Nightmare Before Christmas. Well, that's beautiful, I told him. He smiled as he sat down next to him. As he sat it down next to him, he sighed and said, "You're a nice man, Franklin." Only thing was that I had never told him my name. I looked at him and felt unease wash over me like a bucket of cold water. How do you know my name? I just know these things. I know a lot of things. I know you got 2 dogs, one's a Dachshund and the other's a Chihuahua. Your daughters have named them Brad and Taco. I'm not done. You've got a wife named Emily, and today she'll tell you that she's pregnant with a little boy.
And on the news, they'll mention that an aerial strike from Russia will have struck the California coast. I laughed at first, expecting him to laugh with me. He had to have been a co-worker of my wife's or a friend of her friend. But he wasn't laughing. He seemed overwhelmed with sadness. Listen, friend, I'd talk more, but you're making me feel a little weirded out. I think I'll take care of the pumpkins. God damn it, he grumbled, pinching his brow. I'm sorry. I rushed it again. Just let me explain it over coffee. Do you have coffee? I was hesitant. He was odd, but he didn't strike me as a dangerous person. I told him to wait on the porch. My wife asked me who I was talking to, and I said it was some guy. I brought out 2 black cups of coffee outside, steamrolled off their times against the cold air. He smiled as he grabbed his cup. I gave my cup one sip and asked, "Well, I'm listening." Right, it's funny. I keep doing this, having this conversation with people. I keep thinking I have enough time on my hands each time I roll back to the beginning. I guess you could say it started when I died. I was listening intently and tried to hide my expression of complete bewilderment. Now, I know what you're thinking. I sound like an insane person, but just let me explain. I passed away on June 17th, 2051, at 99 years old. I was ready to go home, embrace my Lord and my family. And then I'm in a hospital surrounded by doctors. I see my mother holding me. "So you were reincarnated?" "No. Reborn. I went back to the year of my birth, but I was full of a lifetime's worth of knowledge. I knew the outcome of so many events, and not just my life, but in history. I tried to change these events, but what?" The old man wiped his eyes. "Would you believe me if the life you're living now is the best possible outcome?" I thought about the current state of things. War, famine, genocide, poverty, so many awful things. I gave my answer. "No, I'd like to think there's a better life than, well, this." The old man gripped my hand. His palm was callous and rough. "I've been lived hundreds of lives. I've tried to change so many of them, but every change leads to something horrible. I've tipped the FBI about the 9/11 terror attacks, but you know what happened afterwards? The bastards tried again. Went after that year's Super Bowl. Dove the plane into the stadium. It's like a house of cards. You pluck one thing out and it all goes to shit." I sipped my coffee. The man was obviously insane, so I decided to ask him a question. But before I could ask it, he said, "You're going to ask me what's in my hand. You've got 3 pennies and a quarter. Of maybe this time you've grabbed your keys, which has a fidget attached to it, a little clicker, I believe." I put the change back in my pocket and stared at him with a slack-jawed expression. Before I asked him another question, he plucked the words from my lips. "You're going to ask me for a detail about you only you would know. You had a daughter. Her name was going to be Robin. She was a stillborn." I felt my stomach drop and asked him, "So, what are you exactly? Some sort of time loop sage spouting out advice?" "Listen, I'm not even sure what I am anymore, but all I can do is prepare people." "For what?" "For the end of everything." "I thought you died at 99. "Not of old age." He drank the rest of his coffee and seized a pumpkin. He extended an open palm to me. "May I?" I handed him a knife, and he started whittling away at the gourd.
Today, Russia will strike the California coast. You mentioned that earlier. When? He looked at his watch and with heavy eyes he told me. 6 hours from now, you'll get a notification about it soon. And then what? A third world war. It'll be quick. Jesus, what happens? The missiles will fly and the presidents will point fingers and make claims. Both sides don't have enough humility to end the war to save their own nations. In the end, the people rise up, start killing their leaders in the streets just like the French Revolution. What about us? Everyone living around here? To be honest, we don't see a lot of conflict outside the occasional air raid when we've got to go into storm shelters and bunkers. When the dust settles, things will be good for a while. For a while. Unfortunately, we neglected the planet to a point of no return. Many animals die. Coral reefs blackened by oil, smog-covered skies. Enjoy the blue sky while you can, because after the war, it ain't coming back. It'll be hard to breathe, and then... He was silent. He dropped the jack-o'-lantern onto the grass and clasped his hands together. The atmosphere starts to erode. By the time I was in the nursing home, it just... I can't even describe it. It's just like the earth we knew, and then it was overtaken by sudden darkness. That's the last thing I remembered. The screams of terror, and then it all goes black. Why tell me? Why not? I'm here for some reason, and I think it's to help some common folks like y'all. It'll be hard, but you'll survive until it's time for the earth to end. I felt a rush of existential fear overtake me. I was beginning to shake, but he took my hand and softly spoke. It's not here yet, but it will be. Be prepared. And then he was gone. Like, I had never even met him. I tried looking for him in town, but there's no sign of him. I write this because maybe I should be sharing his message too. If you see him, listen to him. As I'm writing this up, I'm looking at the television showing images of scorched California coastal cities. The president will be speaking in 10 minutes, and the number one thing trending on social media right now is World War III. Even after our conversation, I was hoping he was just some nut who was able to luckily guess some details about my life. But now I know he was telling the truth. God help us. He was right. Yay. Yay. We did it. We did the stream. Nyahaha. Okay. Let's see. Some people do. Oh wait, no. I've already read that. Tofu, I'll keep you all day. Don't offer. Ayo? When he said, and then it all goes black, my ears started ringing. Added so much spook. Oh, Neil. Oh, Neil. I want to thank you guys for being here. Sorry about missing yesterday. But we will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. EST, around 9 a.m. EST. If you are in the Tofu Discord, I think I'm gonna pour some more coffee, maybe take a little bit to relax, but should be there. What time is it now? Should be there around 4. So we'll hang out for an hour there if you want to join me. I'll probably play some games or do something, I'm not sure. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for the subs today, and thanks for the raid. And yeah, appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here. Y'all take care. Bye bye.